This is Groove Talk with FrogE Style.
Welcome to another episode of Groove Talk, everybody. On this episode, I am joined by Brett, Andrew, and Jordan, and they are all part of the band The Ashley 100.
Hi! Hey!
So just to start off, why don't you kind of like introduce yourself and tell us just a little bit about the band?
Seems like a Brett kind of thing to do.
So we have been a band for what feels like forever now.
In a bad way, not a good way.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It's like one of those marriages where all the love is just sucked right out.
You're just going through the motions at this point, really.
But yeah, anyways, in the last couple of years, we've really ramped things up and been doing some more national touring. I guess, as a band, we're Folkadelic beard pop.
Experience band.
Yeah, that's our made-up genre. So we like to combine just like a whole mishmash of genres together, like hip-hop drumming, like a lot of indie rock influence, and then a bit of banjo sneaks its way in.
That's, nice, Brett. That's it.
So how did you guys all meet then?
Most of us went to high school together, actually, but we didn't start making music together until after high school. I think that's pretty much the common thing that brought us together. That's how we all know each other.
Yeah, Andrew and I had been just like jamming in the woods for a little while, kind of just for fun, and then I had known Carson, and I ran into him at a Wendy's one day, and I was like, hey, some people are coming over to jam in my parents' basement. Do you want to come? And he showed up, and that was kind of the like foundation of what became the band.
So has music always been a big part of your guys' lives then?
Yes, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so. I remember the first album that I owned, it was White Stripes, and I just fell in love with rock and roll, and that was the kind of music I wanted to make. And I was pretty young, and I liked the color red, and they went with that red aesthetic. So I was like, I don't know. And then just growing up, some of my earliest memories are singing along to like Queen with my mom or something like that. So that's kind of, it's been since my earliest memories, for sure.
My first album was Chumbawamba, Tub Thumping.
Nice. What are the other tracks on that album?
I could not tell you. I think I just played the one on repeat.
Tub Thumping on repeat?
Yeah.
Nice.
I once had an assignment in high school that was pick one song to describe you. And that was the song.
Makes sense.
You know,
that does make sense.
Just keep on going, you know. Don't let life get you down.
Yeah, and then
we'll
you
get
drink
up
a whiskey drink and a vodka drink.
It definitely rings true.
And my best friend Danny.
Yeah. Danny. Music has been a part of my life for a long time. My parents listened to a wide variety growing up, and then I just like singing along, and I was like, I want to do that. Started playing instruments and joining bands. Here we are.
Yeah, I think my first CD was like that really got me into music was like AC/DC.
Oh yeah.
It was one of my dad's CDs, and it was a live album.
Oh, nice.
And I can't listen to AC/DC anymore because I listened to that CD so many freaking times.
They're a gateway band.
They're
definitely a gateway band.
Yeah. And then I just like progressively was like searching for heavier and heavier things, and I did a project in junior high where you were supposed to pick a song and like describe the poetic elements of it or whatever, and I picked Master of Puppets by Metallica.
Nice.
Also because I wanted to be edgy, because, junior high.
Yeah, it was pretty hardcore for junior high, for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you guys have been releasing new music lately.
Yeah, we have a single that we're going to be releasing pretty quick here.
Okay.
And then another one after that. And this year we're kind of focused on doing like some rolling singles, and then maybe a short run EP at the end of the year that kind of compiles all those singles onto a single compact disc or tape. We'll see.
Going for quality over quantity.
Yeah.
For this year around.
Yeah, we're just kind of testing out, just working with different mixers and stuff, like just working with different people, seeing, because we eventually, I think next year we're gonna look into recording another full-length album. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's the plan.
Andrew, what are you talking about?
What have you learned from maybe previous recordings that you're taking and you're applying to like these recordings?
Don't just record the songs that you have. I think with our first EP that we recorded, those were the songs we had. We didn't have much to choose from, and I think what we've learned recently, like with our other 2 releases, is what you want is a large library of songs to choose from, so you can kind of pick your best ones that you want to record. So I think, when we were younger, we're like, these are our songs.
Yeah.
Let's record them, release them. But I think we want to take more time into not only writing the songs, but like, we have the songs written. Let's dissect it. Let's see what parts we can keep, which we can add, and just kind of making them the best that they can be before recording them. So I guess pre-production.
Right, I was going to say
pre-production
along those lines too. Like rewriting the songs is as important as writing them. Not being afraid to throw away a part because it's not working. You don't have to throw away the whole song.
So what's the writing process like for you guys then?
It's all over the place, really.
It's very sporadic.
I mean, lately, I guess the last couple songs, now that we have, we finally set up a demo studio in our house so we can actually write songs at the same time as, hearing them back recorded instead of just, playing them together and trying to hash it out that way. So lately, we all kind of write songs in the band, so somebody will lay down a couple parts and then everybody else will come into the studio and kind of build from there, and then it goes from there to trying to jam it out together and work out any kinks and work on transitions and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's always been not a challenge, but we are a band of songwriters. We all write, so, and to have all those different perspectives in one writing session can be a little overwhelming at sometimes. So lately again, we've been coming into the studio, laying some stuff down, and then also breaking into smaller groups and hashing things out with just 2 or 3 of us at a time, and then coming to the rehearsal space with most of the song, and then we can kind of jam it down there.
Mm-hmm. It only took us 6 years or whatever to figure out an efficient way to write songs that we're not just all sitting around going, I don't know.
So how do you decide what songs make it onto recordings then?
A battle to the death.
Yeah, usually arm wrestles, thumb wrestles, kind of.
I think we try to play them live and see which responds best with our audience, because we we raise these songs from from birth basically, and they have a connection to us in a different way than they will to people who listen to it. So for me, I try to we try to get like our friends' opinions on stuff, and I think that really helps to decide, because I mean at the end of the day we do want to do what we want, but we also want to have a product that other people enjoy just as much. So
Yeah, we definitely like to test them out.
and you can just
Live.
feel it in the audience. Like you don't even need to ask someone. You can tell if it's connecting or not. And sometimes they hit, and sometimes they miss.
Most times they miss.
Have you ever had a song that you thought was going to go over really well, but it didn't? Or the opposite?
Yeah, for sure. We will test it at different shows. Like it won't just be like we play it once and then if it's a hit or a miss, we're like, oh, that's it. Or like this stays or this goes. Like we like to try it out a few different times, but yeah, there's definitely been times where I'm like, people are gonna shake their bodies to this song, and then they don't, and then I'm like, oh no.
I've made a huge mistake.
There's also so many venues around that we've played, and different songs fit the different scenarios better. We'll play it somewhere where there's a regular crowd, and it's kind of more of a sit-down thing, or what we like to call a salad gig at events, where there's something happening and we just are playing kind of on the side.
Yeah, there's like the corporate gigs that we'll call those. Yeah.
And so it compared to like a show at like Broken City or Palomino, where you're in the basement, you're there for that. So it's kind of like we have different set lists for those moments. So yeah.
Okay. What's the most satisfying crowd reaction that you've had to one of your songs?
Like personally, when people are singing along to your songs, they're like, there's really no greater feeling for me than that. So we have a few. I wouldn't call them like anthem-y songs, but songs that people can definitely sing along to. That it calls for like some group vocal stuff, and to see like a room of people singing back to you like lyrics that you wrote, or like songs that we all wrote together. It's a really nice experience. And then also like just when people move around, I don't know, we've had like some pretty awesome like dance parties and stuff at our shows and stuff. So that's feed off of that. Love that. What about you, Jordan?
We have one song that it kind of just cuts down to bass, and people sing the bass line in Cold Weather Heart. I love that every time.
Yeah,
there's also another song, All I Know, where we're screaming no, but we're saying like K and
like
O-W.
It's all I know.
No, but then there's a pause, everyone screams yes back.
Yeah, so it's like we're singing no. They're like, yes!
We're like, no!
We're like, no, but it's like, I love it. It's great.
It's kind of distracting, but it's fun when the whole crowd gets into it.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite show that you've performed?
I think for me, our first show with Michael as our drummer was maybe like the most. It was like the craziest show we've played. A lot of my hockey buddies came out, and they don't really come out to shows, and they were moshing to songs that aren't meant to really be moshed to, so the energy was super high, and I don't know, it was just we'd been in hiatus for a while, so that was kind of a big comeback, and started sort of the start of a new era for us as that. So that show kind of definitely set the tone for kind of like, I don't know, going forward, because we've had since like Michael's been with us for 4 years almost. Three. I think we're over like 3.5. I'll go in on 4 years, we'll say. And yeah, it's just been a completely different experience. He brings so much, and also challenges us to be better
musicians. But yeah, that show was awesome. There's just been, we have such great venues here, and we have just a beautiful community, and I don't know, any show that we play in Calgary, I'm always super into every. I know it's kind of lame to be like every show is my favorite show, but I don't know, playing it, in the basement of the Palomino or at Broken City, like there's just an energy there, and when everybody's into it, it's intoxicating. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like the more you guys get into it, the more the crowd gets into it, and it just kind of
spirals.
Yeah, cycles from there. So I guess what are the crowds like at an Ashley 100 show? Do you get a lot of like crossover, I guess, like from people who seem like they're maybe wouldn't typically come out to a lot of the shows and stuff, or?
Definitely a little bit. Like, I would say our main crowd is like people who like indie rock and like rock music. That's kind of the main thing. But my favorite thing to hear is people who are like, I only listen to metal usually, and I love this show.
Yeah, it's always nice to talk to people like that after a show who wouldn't normally go, to like an indie rock show or whatever, like, and they enjoy it. So, yeah.
Lots of girls. That's who. No. So many.
Yeah, our mom,
sister, girlfriend,
cousins, girlfriend.
That's one thing is, I remember performing live for the first time, and I was like, man, I'm going to get so many girls. And ultimately, I was disappointed at the end of the night.
Yeah.
The people I'd say who come up to me most are like kind of nerdier guys that are like, yo, sick pedal board, tell me about it. And then I'm like, hell yeah, dude, here's everything.
Yeah, Brett's a bit of a gearhead.
So it sounds like you guys have been in the music scene for a while here in Calgary. So how have you seen the music scene change from the time you got into it till now?
I think it's matured a lot. Like the quality of bands has gone way up, and just like the like thoughtfulness of the music, it's gone from, I remember when we first started, there was like maybe a couple bands that were making music that would like compete at a national level, to like now just everywhere I look there's incredible bands that I could see on like any stage in the country.
Yeah. There's also, especially, I don't know if it's lately, but like there's like, if there's multiple shows in one night, they're usually well attended. Like people are going out to shows a lot more, I feel like. Maybe, have you noticed that?
It does feel like that.
Seems
lately.
like there's just a lot of people going to shows and enjoying live music. I mean, I know that's kind of how it's, it's always been, but I feel like it's like lately, like, yeah, it's been pretty packed at shows, even like, like shows that I'll go to just to support friends and stuff. It's a cool scene. It's happening. It's alive. It's alive.
Since you guys have toured around a little bit, what makes, in your opinion at least, what do you think makes Calgary's music scene different from other music scenes?
Calgary is rowdy. I feel like I've noticed here people will go to a show and they like to dance and jump around and have a good time. Like we played to well attended shows outside of the city, and like they're fine, but it's like it's not the same energy. Like people go, they're like more kind of listen and stand, and there's like, I don't know, I just feel like Calgary is a little bit rowdier than a lot of other places. You notice that?
Yeah, definitely. I think also Calgary, there's a lot of uniqueness in Calgary bands. Like there are very few bands in this city that sound like another band in the city. Whereas I feel like a lot of other cities kind of have an identifiable sound. And there's always exceptions to that, but I don't really feel like Calgary has a sound. There's just so many different bands doing really cool and interesting and personal things here.
Awesome. That's kind of interesting because, like, as an outsider or from an outsider perspective, somebody would probably be like, Calgary sound is country, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But,
for sure.
like, I haven't seen that personally, and I feel like maybe that's why. Maybe, like, we're trying to get away from the country stereotype.
You know,
I mean, I do play in a country band.
Yeah.
So.
You guys are great. I love that band. I'm not a huge country guy, but you know, we have a lot of I feel like pockets here. There's it's not just like, you know, the indie rock scene is thriving and doing well, but you know, there's a lot of different, like, we've got a great, you know, like, you know, post rock scene here. We have great punk scene. There's a, you know, obviously the country scene is kind of Calgary's bread and butter, especially during the Stampede. But you know, I think there's a lot of different things happening, but you know, the community is strong.
Cool. Just curious, playing in a country band, do you see a difference in crowd sizes in country versus other music?
I mean, this band has only played like a couple of shows so far, so it's not. I don't have a big enough sample size to answer that question.
That's fair. So I've heard other bands. I've talked to other bands, and they've kind of said that you guys have kind of almost mentored them in a way. So I guess being around so long, does it feel like you have maybe a responsibility to the newer bands that are coming up, or?
Well, you know, wow, that's
I think we just treat other bands the way we would want to be treated. Like, even if someone wants to play a show with us and we can't make it happen, we kind of have the knowledge of other bands in the city that might fit a good bill, or like, you know, we might have played a venue in a different city that we have a contact to, and if, you know, we think they would, you know, have a good fit there, we kind of help them out, and other people help us out. So it's kind of like a pay it forward thing, and yeah, because lots of bands have helped us out with stuff too. So I think it's just we're I think we're part of a real cool friendship that's with all the other bands in kind of our scene, and that's yeah, I think what helps grow that image of us being sort of involved with everybody in a helpful way, because that's what everyone's trying to do, I think.
Yeah, there's no sense in, if you have some kind of information, there's no hurt in sharing that information, you know, like if the more bands that are doing well in the city, it's better for everybody, so there's no point in keeping our cards close to our chest.
Yeah, I just want to see, I think we all just want to see people succeed. I feel like there's no sense in making it a competition, you know. There's a lot of, especially like when you go, you know, to like a metropolis like Toronto, like this scene is a little more competitive, I'd say, and I think here it's a more nurturing, and you know, we've been nurtured, and like Jordan said, we want to pay that forward, because at the end of the day, if bands are succeeding here, then we're all succeeding.
I agree. It's kind of getting away from that famine mentality.
Yeah. Like
thinking that if somebody else is doing good, that there's not going to be enough for you or whatever, when in reality
it's more.
Yeah. With all the venues and stuff like that Calgary does have, like again, like you said, there's multiple shows going on every weekend, and they continue to happen, and they're well attended. So,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's a win. That's a win for everyone. That's great.
Yeah.
So we want to see. That's the point. We want people out enjoying live music and experiencing art. So how's that a bad thing? Why does it have to be a competition?
Yeah, it's fun to like have a band that you know is really awesome and haven't played a lot of shows, and we're like, play a show with us, and then our friends are like, I love that band so much, you know, like you're like, and that's I don't know. I hear those stories a lot, and I'm like, and it, just opening up doors. It's awesome. It feels good.
Is there maybe a local band that you guys kind of look up to or have helped you out in a significant way?
I think teaming up with 36 was pretty big for us.
Yeah, for sure. We played a show with them, and then they wanted to record like a split record with us. So, like, that was huge for us. They really helped us along, and I mean, there's a lot of bands that I look up to here, like a lot of musicians. You know, we were just at that Sweet Berry Wine release the other day, and like those musicians are so inspiring to watch. A band like as badass as Crooked Spies, like they're I don't know. There's just
guys like Bad Animal who we've played with a couple times recently. It's been nice to team up with them too.
Yeah, for sure. And then even though, you know, it's a newer band, but they're, you know, like veterans, like Thomas. I would love to go see every Thomas show that there is. They're definitely some of my new favorites. There's just again, like we were saying, there's so many cool bands, and it's such a cool scene, and you know, I look up to a lot of people. But yeah, 36, they really helped us along at the beginning, back when we were
babies.
Awesome. What was it about music that made it kind of your creative outlet? Why wasn't it, say, drawing or painting or something like that? What is it specifically about music that you gravitated towards?
I can't draw worth a shit.
Yeah, definitely not a visual artist.
I think music is very similar to like mathematics, and I really enjoy math, but I hate it at the same time. But doing it like with a guitar, that makes sense. It's like a good connection where I'm associating all these positions with how they relate, and then you make something that sounds good. I don't know, that's for me, because I can't paint or draw or anything.
Well, like junior high and high school, I was always a drama kid, and I loved entertaining, and like through music you can do that. Like if you put on a cool live show or entertain people, you know, just that, for me it combines two of my favorite things, which is, you know, writing and making music, and then performing. I think for me, performing is the greatest feeling ever. Like playing live that's what I live for. I love playing live. I love playing to people. I love entertaining people.
I think it's kind of the same for me. Like, I think if it wasn't for music, I don't think I would have a creative outlet, because like I've tried other stuff and it just doesn't come naturally, whereas music, just because the love of it was always there, like I was so much more inspired to work at it. And there's something about the energy of like a live rock show that is so magical and special in itself.
What is it about performing specifically that is so appealing? And do your performances like kind of stray away from the recorded material?
It's definitely a different experience, like live versus recorded, and it's never going to sound exactly the same, and I don't think it really should.
Yeah, it's. I think those are two separate things. I just like getting reactions from people, like in between songs. Somebody said something kind of funny to me, and we played a show in Edmonton, and after they're like, "Yo, I love the Calgary music scene because it's like live music and then it's also stand-up comedy." And I was like, because I don't know, we're all, I'd say we're best friends, right, guys? But I don't know, I feel like that translates live, like with our banter, like Jordan and I, whenever we're talking on stage, we like to roast each other, we like to say funny things to each other, I guess. I think when we're in the van, we are the funniest people ever. But
that's usually because of lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep and a terrible diet.
And inside jokes that make no sense.
No sense. It's like a different language.
Yep.
I think somebody even said that before. Like, I have no idea what you guys have been talking about for the past 10 minutes. What? Yeah, I don't know. It's getting in front of a crowd of people to get them to dance or sing along to your music, and then in between songs, like getting a laugh or two is I like that. It's fun.
Is there anything about being in a band that was kind of surprising and you didn't expect?
So much emailing. Yeah, there's so many emails.
Yeah, I thought we'd be making more money, honestly. I thought I'd be a millionaire by now.
My 5-year plan hasn't come to fruition.
Yeah, I thought, with touring, I knew that Canada was a large country, but I didn't realize it'd be that much driving between cities.
There's so much nothing in the middle.
So much nothing. So many prairies. So much forest.
Canadian Shield.
The Great Canadian Shield.
Gorgeous country, though.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. But, I mean, it'd be nice if there were a few more places to play in between.
We got to get that Flin Flon music scene driving.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's it,
Yeah. I was just recently out of the country, and I was talking to some people from Europe and stuff. And I was just like, we're talking about their country, and met some people from Scotland. I was like, so how long does it take to just like drive across your country? They're like, like 4 hours. Just like, fuck you.
Oh, wow. It's like,
just past Edmonton.
Yeah, it takes less time to drive through Scotland than it does to drive to Saskatoon.
Yeah, exactly. Do you guys ever find it difficult to balance your personal lives with your band lives?
It's definitely a challenge, especially with like 5 of us that all have different schedules and relationships and jobs, like full-time jobs and stuff. But I think we do a pretty good job of it. Like we make sure to stay really on top of it, and this is always a priority. So if you make something a priority, you're always going to be able to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is something that's coming up in the future that you guys are really excited about?
One of our all-time favorite musicians is mixing one of our singles right now. That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Sure.
Chris Taylor from the band Grizzly Bear. We just kind of reached out to him on a whim, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm down to mix your song," and that was pretty insane. So we're getting that back this week.
Yes. And then, are we allowed to mention that July show yet?
When's this coming out?
Sometime in June.
I'm sure we can.
Yeah, we got asked to open up for Tokyo Police Club in July, and they are awesome. They were one of my favorite.
We're also
bands.
playing with the Drug Dealer in Calgary. The Tokyo Plays Clubs in Edmonton show, and then we're opening for Drug Dealer as well. So that's
a couple of cool opening spots, and then we also get to play a few dates with some of our good friends in the band Nature Of. We're playing with Nature Of for a few different shows, and going to be exciting to hit the road with those cats because they're awesome. We love that band.
And then we're also playing the most fun weekend of the year at FrogE Fest.
That's for sure. Gonna be always a highlight. We've played there. Oh man, is this our 5th year?
I think this is 5.
Our 5th year playing FrogE Fest. It's just a really awesome little music festival. So, yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything different that you do to prepare for music festivals versus just like bar shows, or?
We, especially like this show at FrogE Fest this year, we just want to make it a little more special. So I guess just a bit more work put into like having it be a seamless set. And
yeah, and then like we want it to be visually pleasing as well. So yeah, we're working on making that a special show.
yeah, we really have those kids on LSD in mind when we're planning our festival shows.
All the children on LSD.
All those kids just high on LSD.
Well, I'm sure those children very much appreciate it.
Is this what live music is?
Do you guys ever have problems calling a song finished? Like letting it go and being like, this is now done?
Yeah. It's like the hardest thing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that. It's always.
Yeah, I feel like it's always room for improvement until recording.
I feel like even after we
yeah.
record it, that's when I come up with an idea that I love, and I'm like, oh my god, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with reimagining songs. I love like going to a concert of a band that I love, and they play a song from an album like 6 years ago, and it's got a totally different feel to it. I think that's so cool.
I think that's the plight of any artist is this done? Is this complete? Is this the best that it can be? Because it never is. You could always work on it, and then to a fault. I feel like that's just the creative person will. I don't think we'll ever truly be satisfied.
Yeah. Even though sometimes the first, like, that raw first thing that you make is sometimes perfect.
We overanalyze, for sure.
I guess, are you guys, like, really hard on yourselves? Like, critical and stuff? Or?
Probably too much. Yeah. I'm always like, this doesn't sound like Radiohead.
Yeah, I mean...
We're not trying to do that.
Yeah, with music and everything else in my life, I guess. And I always just suck.
Yeah, it is hard to not be too self-critical, but I think it's also kind of it's good and bad, because it's good to like pick apart your songs and think like, how could this be better, instead of just being like, I'm the best. But it also is draining for energy to just be constantly down on yourself.
Yeah, that little voice in your head. Well, mine is always like, you garbage kid. Just smoking a pack of cigarettes. You're always gonna be garbage. That's it.
Voice.
That's a tiny little voice.
Little.
Garbage. Good night.
Yeah, like I get that. Anytime I'm editing a podcast, it's literally my own voice in my head, and I'm just sitting there being like, "Fuck, you sound stupid." Man, your voice is so dumb. So I guess how do you combat that?
LSD. No, I'm just kidding.
That makes it worse.
Makes the voice a lot louder.
I think like having a good show is helpful for that. When people are like, "Oh my god, I love that new song," it's like it's reassuring.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I don't know. We do our best to, I think, support each other. So it helps. It helps having your friends and your band with you.
And I think time just is one where you're like, oh, I still actually like the song. Because at first it's new and exciting, and you're like, yep, this is sweet. And then a month later, you're like, no, I don't even want to hear the song anymore. You know, like,
Yeah.
so so it's kind of like, can it stand the test of time?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of if it can push through that, then it's, a contender.
Cool. So I always mean to ask this question, but I always forget because there's so many interesting band names out there. I don't think I've actually ever asked this question, but why the Ashley 100?
Well, we've been a band for a long time, so that name has been kind of around for a while. But basically, the Ashley 100 was a group of mountain men, now seen in the movie The Revenant, but we had the name first. But basically, they were a group of mountain men, like, exploring through the Rocky Mountains. And when we started as a band, like, a lot of our early days of bonding was, like, going for hikes through the Rockies and stuff. So it felt appropriate to have a name that kind of took from like mountain exploration, and we were also trying to be kind of like sonic explorers, so it just summed up the way we felt at the time, and now here we are.
Cool fun fact, Brett was actually an extra in the movie The Revenant. You played what, dead guy number 12 or something like that?
No, it's Guy on Boat.
Oh, Guy on Boat, yeah.
Yeah, in the second scene, if you look way in the back,
A live guy on boat?
Yeah.
Didn't you film a dead scene though?
I did, but they reshot it.
Yeah. Guy on Boat.
Yeah, Guy on Boat. Claim to fame.
We were also playing with changing our band name to Guy on Boat.
It's a great band name. Great song name.
We'll do something with it and we'll see.
Yeah.
Here, our sophomore album.
Do you get paid more being alive in a movie or dead?
I got paid more being alive, but I think that was because there was only like 2 people that day. The dead day was not. It was a substandard payment.
Wasn't that the more brutal day?
It was, yeah. It was freezing. It was like 2 degrees, and we were laying dead next to a river. The assistant director kept being like, "Hey, stop trying to warm yourselves up. You guys are dead."
Would you say that they were a nightmare to work with, Brett?
I'd say.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, shit. We're going to get sued. I'd like to clarify, not the main director. Good guy, assistant.
Assistant to the regional director.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was a dick, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Who else can we bash?
Anyone you want, really. They probably don't listen to this podcast. Let's be real here.
So, Jason Kenny.
Oh, we're getting political now.
Are you guys political with your music at all?
No.
No?
People have told us that we should be. I've had somebody say, you have a platform to talk to people and, share your point of view. And I'm just like, I do have opinions and a point of view, but I like to keep that separate from the music personally.
I've written a couple of the songs that I've written are very, very vaguely somewhat political, but not overly so. I guess more just like philosophical, but about views on the world. But it's so buried in metaphor and stuff that...
I will say that we all vote.
Yeah.
Right?
Differently. We do vote. That's why it's also hard to have a...
Yeah.
Because we all vary. I mean,
Do we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Slightly, maybe.
We're all good people, I think.
Good stand-up voting citizens. Where do you draw on inspiration when you are writing songs?
Just like for me, it's like whatever is on my mind, really. Like I like to put in like a bit of my own philosophy of life, and sometimes tie in like if I'm going through some kind of hard event in my life, it's just an easy thing to write about.
Yeah, write what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just whatever inspires you, or like your past experiences. Sometimes we get together and do some drugs and write some songs, but that's not everybody's process.
I think a lot of our songs kind of revolve around like not quite like fitting in the world, but like how to navigate it or something, like insanity, anxiety, like
That's especially with our full length. I feel like anxiety came up a lot.
So I think kind of the emotion, just like general emotion and surviving and how to navigate through life. That's kind of what we were kind of trying to figure out with a lot of our songs. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of, I think that's what ends up coming out a lot.
Okay. Have you noticed a shift in like your mental health once you started writing songs and making music?
No, mine's always been poor. It's a good outlet for sure.
Yeah.
The best thing that I've ever done for my mental health is going to counseling. I feel like anybody who thinks they should go. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's a struggle with any creative person. Really, is it's hard to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. People are so focused on the physical health, but if your mental health is shit, then it's life is a lot harder for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just want to say if I'm not sure if writing music has helped, but I think that being a part of a band has helped my mental health. Just like having a group of people that I love around me like all the time that I can talk to about anything, because we get so close, spending like 12 hours in a van,
Too close.
Yeah.
How are you? How are you, man?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah? Good mental health?
Yeah. We'll see.
Relatable content.
Yeah, it's one thing that I've noticed talking to a lot of musicians is most people struggle with mental health issues. That's what I've noticed talking to most human beings.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that most people struggle from some sort of mental health issue in one way or another. I would say almost the majority.
We're sad monkeys.
We're sad monkeys.
Sad monkeys.
Because we're monkeys who know that we're just monkeys.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, we're the monkeys.
Oh, damn. That song just got way more real.
What advice would you maybe give to a younger person who is deciding to just start a band?
Don't do it. What's that song? Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys or musicians.
I'd say work your ass off and go to as many shows as you can and listen to as much music as you can and meet as many people that are doing similar things.
Yeah.
You can't do it on your own.
No, you gotta dive right in and try to get yourself involved in the community.
And the community is nice and they'll help you out.
Yes.
If you're nice.
Take help where you can get it. Work hard and do it for the right reasons.
Money.
Yeah. Not so maybe not for girls. Yeah.
Not for girls. Don't do it
That's-
to attract members of whoever you're into. But do it because you love it, and then I think that'll show. Oh, show up to Loden on time. Don't play any longer than you have to.
And no encores unless you're last.
Yeah, no mid-show encores. And I can't stress to you how important this one is. Don't do it.
Social suicide.
It's you know what that is, right? It's it's just be respectful to bookers and bar owners and whoever is doing your sound, and you'll be good. You'll be good to go. So just be nice. Be kind.
Is this personal advice, I guess, that you have maybe done yourselves and realized, or is it just stuff that you've kind of come to realize through playing a lot of shows?
I think that's what's worked for us.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
being good people and treating everybody with respect. And it made us easy to get shows even when we sucked as a band, because we were nice to the bar and good to the sound guy and brought all of our friends out.
Yeah, I mean, Michael always calls us schoolboys because we try to show up on time and play for as long as we're booked to play, and it's worked for us.
And I think we've just seen those things happen.
Yeah,
and it's like you can feel the cringe in the room, or like there's stuff where like I don't know if I want to play with them again. That wasn't awesome experience-wise. Nothing to do with the music, you know. So it's everything on the other side of that is so yeah. Sometimes you can just get rubbed the wrong way, or not even us. Like people talk, right? Some band will come to us and tell us a ridiculous story of someone else's behavior, and you're like, whoa, okay, noted. You know, that like word gets around if you're not.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a great community, but you know, it's a community. People talk. So
The music community is real good at calling out people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So basically, you could be the great musician, but if you're a dick, people aren't going to want to play with you.
Yeah.
These days, that's
For
Unless you're like the best in the world.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to the playground. Like, unless you got some really sweet toys, like the best toys, if you're a dick, nobody wants to play with you.
True. Yeah.
Okay. Any just kind of final things you guys want to throw out there?
Hi, Mom. I know you're listening. What's
Stay tuned for Ashley 100 music to come this year. We're super excited. I think it's the best that we've done so far.
Oh yeah, I guess we do have to promote ourselves. Yes.
Find us on the line, nexopia.com.
Instagram's good.
Yeah.
Too.
Instagram. Saying it right now. Instagram better than Facebook.
Yeah.
Come at me, Mark. Wait.
He
wait a
He owns
second.
it all.
Oh, no. Honestly, they're listening right now.
Honestly,
so-
come at me, Mark.
Honestly.
Still,
Seriously, Mark, I've got some good ideas. If you want to pick your brain, you hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. Preferably Instagram.
Oh, fuck that shit, Twitter.
Oh.
Those are fighting words, though. Actually, one last question that I did think of. Do you guys ever find it difficult to promote yourselves?
with Facebook, yeah, it sucks. You have to pay to get to people who already follow you and like you. Like, you can't even reach the audience that has chosen to follow your page. And then it's bands like us. Like, we're currently like $- in our bank account right now, and we have shows coming up that we have to pay Facebook and social media to promote. And it's like, what? That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, it maybe makes sense for it makes sense for larger bands who are like, you know, are there. You don't follow them, and all of a sudden there's ads popping up on your Facebook. But like,
and they're on a label and have a budget for that
Yeah.
stuff. And yeah, we're just trying to make music, and that's expensive.
so it's like, yeah, because it's the days of just like standing on a street corner and handing out flyers. I don't know if that's really works, but yeah, I don't know. Just the Facebook thing really irks me.
Yeah. And yeah, you know, it is. I've always found it like not embarrassing, but like it's difficult to be like to your friends, be like, hey, you want to come to my show? Because we're playing, and it's like
Every single weekend.
especially like like on on like Facebook, you send somebody a personal message, and they're like, you don't really talk that much, and it's just like, hey, I think you would enjoy coming out to this. It's like it's hard to do that stuff. Self promotion is really hard.
You really got to put yourself out there. That can be a scary thing to do.
Yeah, my mom said if I put myself out there, I'll meet somebody super nice and I'll be happy one day. And look where I'm at now. Playing in a band.
With us.
with these people. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast. I'll have all the links to your social media and stuff in the episode notes. So if people want to look you guys up and check out your music, they can do that real easy. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have we lost our course? We're strangers in our home. Two halves were not a whole. 'Cause I'm not really here, knowing you're not really there. We're miscommunicating. Seems we're only tolerating now. It feels like I'm talking to myself when I can't see you there behind your eyes. It's clear to me your mind is somewhere else, and if you're listening, I can't tell. We are not dead, but we're barely alive. So I might see you later. I might see you later. Waving goodbye. Waving goodbye.
If you liked this episode of the podcast, why not leave a review? You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. For up-to-date information on the podcast, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us at FrogE Style Productions. That's Frog, the letter E, Style Productions. For more ways to support the show, visit fsproductions.ca.